Hi, my name is Daniela, and in this video I'll be talking about Thomas Ellman's TED Talk, What Do We Lose by Choosing Nonfiction Over Fiction, and connecting that with James Baldwin's Sonny Blues. Both the TED Talk and the short story explore how fiction helps us build empathy by putting us inside someone else's life, basically, and just their emotional experience, and that's how we're able to build empathy. And we live through their emotions, and I think Sonny Blues does a really good job at showing us how to do that, because it's so rich in a lot of things that we start at one point at the beginning of the story and we end at another point, and it gives us a total different point of view. And I just think it was really beautiful to be able to see that, and I was able to connect to the story in a lot of different ways, and hopefully my analysis brings some insight to that. But this story, Sonny's Blues, starts with his brother and Sonny, and they don't really have a strong emotional connection, but towards the end we start to see that emotional connection. And his brother just doesn't really understand him, and he just thinks he's a drug addict, and he just makes bad decisions and bad choices, and obviously it goes way deeper than that. And we are not aware of that at the beginning, but as we continue to progress and read, we see what has happened and the trauma that lives within the family. Sonny writes his brother a letter from prison, and this is the first time that the brother starts to listen to his voice and starts to really see him as a human being in pain. And this is where the brother also starts to emotionally open up, and as the readers, we're drawn in with him at this point. And this is exactly what Ellman means when we're practicing empathy by being emotionally involved in someone else's journey. Another key moment in the story is the flashback about their uncle's death, and that's when the mother tells him, with the brother, that he has to protect Sonny. And this moment gives us insight into the trauma that runs through their family, and it shows how much emotional weight has been passed down. And it helps explain why Sonny turns to music and drugs to cope. Baldwin doesn't just tell us that Sonny is struggling, he shows us where the pain is coming from, and that's where we start to begin to understand him a little bit more deeply. The most powerful moment for me, in my opinion, is the final nightclub scene. And that's where the brother finally listens to Sonny play jazz. And for the first time, he finally understands what Sonny's music really means to him, and that it's his way of expressing pain and surviving trauma and finding peace within himself. In that scene, Baldwin writes, "Seeing to hear with what burning he had made it his." And it's not just about the music anymore. It's about his life and his cry for help, and it's his voice. This is where the brother finally starts to connect with Sonny emotionally. And as readers, we feel that transformation too, because we start in one emotional place at the beginning of the story, and by the end we've completely felt something totally different, and the complexity of someone else's life. Just like Ellman says, fiction builds empathy by giving us emotional access to people we might never understand. And Sonny's Blues doesn't just give us statistics about addiction or trauma, it gives us a lived experience in which we're able to understand a person and build that empathy a lot more. that's the end of my notes. That's the end of my analysis. I don't have anything else to add. I really enjoyed the story, and I'm happy I had the opportunity to read it. So thank you so much.